Well, it is that time of the year again where we wrap up all of the films that we watched in the year and establish which ones were our favorite. I am getting this video out a little bit later than I wanted to between the holidays and illnesses. It didn't quite pan out the way that I wanted to, but the extra time was nice because there were a few extra films that I needed to watch just to round out this whole list. Now, living in the Midwest, it is tricky to watch some of the other films like The Brutalist, Nickel Boys, The Room Next Door. Some of these more limited films just don't hit this market until the new year, usually. So those films, as great as I've heard they are not mentioned anywhere on this list because I didn't have access to them. Unfortunately, there are a few more that I know I'm missing, but those are the ones that really that really bummed me out that I couldn't see before I made this list, especially Nickel Boys and The Brutalist. But so this is a list of the films that I did get to see in 2024 and which ones ended up being my favorite. There were a lot of good movies last year, and I do have some honorable mentions just because narrowing this list down to 10 proved pretty difficult, so I did add some honorable mentions in here just to give these films the acknowledgement they deserve. So without too much more, let's go ahead and dive in here. My honorable mentions are Late Night with the Devil, Wicked, A Complete Unknown, Flow, and A Different Man. These were 5 films that I enjoyed quite a bit. Flow, I actually watched just under the wire. I watched it December 30th. There was a theater near me playing it, and I realized that was one that I kind of slipped through the cracks. So thankfully I got that one in just in time. If you haven't seen Flow yet, highly recommend it when it becomes available to watch on streaming. It's very, very good. A Different Man also I saw hits HBO Max later this month, so check that one out as well. Check all of these films out. They're great. So now for the reason that you are actually here, my top 10 films. Coming in at number 10 is We Live in Time, which stars Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh and is done by the director who did Brooklyn. So I have been very excited for this film for quite a while, and watching it, it lived up to the excitement that I had. It is a serious, but also weaves in plenty of lighthearted moments and really examines love and time and the fragility of time and how we choose to spend our time, both on our own and with people. I love this film. It was excellent. So We Live in Time comes in at number 10. At number 9, we have A Real Pain, the film starring Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin. This was another film that, despite its serious subject matter, also weaves in plenty of humor. The performances are great. It moves at a very efficient pace, and it's one that you're going to be thinking about. Even after the movie ends for a few days, I definitely was. I highly recommend this one, especially since I have a feeling Kieran Culkin will be taking home the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Coming in at number 8 is Conclave, the drama that stars Ralph Fiennes and John Lithgow and plenty of other people. I got wrapped up in this film pretty quick. It didn't take too long. Within minutes, I was invested in this story. Again, another film that moves at a very efficient pace, tells an intriguing story, and the score is excellent in this film. I was hanging on to each scene until the end. So Conclave is my number 8 film. Number 7 is The Wild Robot, an animated film from earlier this year starring Lupita Nyong'o that made me laugh. It made me cry. The emotions run very high in this film, particularly because of the score that I think should be nominated for Best Original Score. The music component really elevates so many scenes in this film, and really, it's one of those rare films where the music is the leading factor to what brought me to tears. A few scenes come to mind specifically, but the swelling and powerful score combined with what you're watching on the screen just really It's excellent. I cannot wait to watch this one again. I saw it multiple times in theaters. It's really one of the best films of the year. At number 6, we have Memoir of a Snail, the stop-motion film starring Sarah Snook, and another animated film that really took me by surprise. I was eagerly awaiting this film, and then as the story was unfolding, I was just in awe of what I was watching and the way that these characters go through this story and culminating in an ending that I'd be hard pressed to think of a moment in a movie this year that made me cry as much as the ending to Memoir of a Snail did. It was so impactful by the end that if you watched this film and didn't get moved to tears, then that's crazy. Number 5 is Challengers, the tennis film starring Zendaya, Mike Feist, and Josh O'Connor. Another film that earlier on in the year, I immediately knew that it would be on my best films of the year list. It is exhilarating, it's dramatic, it's chaotic, it's everything that I wanted from the film when I heard the premise. And Luca Guadagnino, as a director, directs the heck out of this movie, especially the final tennis match. It leaves you on the edge of your seat, and it's a tennis match. It's excellent. Number 4 is Anora, starring Mikey Madison, and the latest film from director Sean Baker. This was one that I was very interested in. As soon as it dropped the film festivals, the buzz was through the roof, and everybody's saying that it is definitely a front runner for Best Picture. So while I had to wait several months to see this film, when I did, I was very curious to see how a film like this was going to use its lengthy runtime. And while the second and third act really aren't at all what I expected in this film, what we got in return was even better than what I had initially thought the film would be. Act 1 is great, but once everything gets blown up, it's just a wild ride to the end with great characters, some great humor, and plenty of emotion, particularly in the final moments of the film. Coming in at number 3 is Nosferatu, the horror film from Robert Eggers. This is a pretty recent watch for me. I watched this just a few days after Christmas and was completely drawn in by this film. It is terrifying. It is unsettling. It is eerie. Act 1 is great. I've been saying that Act 2 of this film is my favorite, where the investigative aspect kicks in and everybody's trying to figure out what is happening as Count Orlok's grip on the city takes hold. It is frightening, chilling, and the third act is unexpectedly chaotic. I didn't know where this film was going. I haven't seen the original 1922 film until not long after I saw this one, and Robert Eggers' adaptation of this story is pretty fantastic. Coming in at number 2 is Dune Part 2, another film starring Zendaya that is on this list. This is so grand in scope, and the action is exhilarating. The characters are intriguing, and the story that is unfolding here. I haven't read Dune, so I had no idea where this story was going, and the eventual things that happen in Act 3 really took me by surprise. There are a lot of moving pieces here, but director Denis Villeneuve really handles it all exceptionally, and the visuals along the way just draw you in, and you really feel immersed in this world the entire time. I've been thinking about this film all year, and a few pieces of the score actually ended up in my Spotify Wrapped, so if that tells you anything about the phenomenal score within this film, then that's really something. And finally, coming in at number 1, my favorite film of the year was The Substance, from director Coralie Farge, and stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid. You cannot forget about Dennis Quaid when you are talking about this film. Talk about leaving an impact with minimal screen time. My gosh, this film is perfect. I don't have a single issue with this film. It is horrifying. It is funny at times. It is satire done so well, and the close examination of beauty and fame and everything that these characters go through is just wild. I remember watching this one for the first time, and within I'd say about half an hour, I knew that this was going to be something really special. And then by the third act, if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. I was just like, this movie it's exceptional. And throughout the entire year, no film was able to beat The Substance for me. This was everything I didn't know I wanted from this film. By the end, I couldn't wait to watch it again, and I have since seen it several times. So that is my list for my top 10 films of 2024. What are some of your favorite films? Did any of them appear on this list? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and if you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. No pressure, but this channel has done a lot more in a short amount of time than I thought it would. The numbers aren't through the roof, but they are certainly more than I would have ever expected for just getting on here and talking about movies because I like to. So thank you so much if you've watched one of my previous videos. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see all of you in the next one. Thanks for watching.